Welcome to the latest edition of Inside the World of Sports. I'm your host, Brian Vada. I'm here with Mr. Leon Taylor, and he's about to tell me why I'm wrong about Penny Hardaway. All right, go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Brian. How you doing?
Good.
Before I just jump in why you wrong, man, I want to say congratulations on what you're doing. You know, you was a great student and now you're in the game. Okay, past that part. Why are you wrong? You are wrong on so many levels because you're not giving Penny Hardaway a fair handshake. And I say that because he's been in this game for probably 4 years now, to be exact. And first 2 years was a little rocky. This past season, we still played through a coronavirus season. And on top of it, we had some games that we couldn't play, like Houston. They didn't want to play us. So we missed out on a quality win. And I say this that despite not being able to make the tournament, you can see some type of progress within the program. Guys are developing, guys are getting better when they buy in. Now, the problem with what really went down where we wasn't dancing, chemistry. Chemistry and people and players stepping up to the challenge of being great players. And those players that didn't step up to the challenge are no longer with us. You know, and it's not saying every last player that left was not buying in the system because DJ Jeffries, he was a great player and we wish him the best. Damian Bob, wish him the best. Boogie Ellis, wish him the best. But it just wasn't the right fit for where we were trying to go. You know, you want guys to feel comfortable with their role that they're given and just go forward with it. This year's team is a lot different. And on top of that, this team is not jailed yet. And I feel like a lot of your articles is about win right now. And that's not fair at all. I mean, this guy just won NIT. And a lot of people can say that's not nothing, but let me tell you something. Any type of championship you win is something. Can't water down any type of championship. It could be an AAU championship, high school championship. If it wasn't something, people wouldn't play for it. So I say this to say he set the bar up a little bit, and now we can see where we're going. Now, he has pieces around him, but nothing's really been proven but 3 or 4 players. So with that being said, I wouldn't say it's a win-now situation. When I see people say this season is a make or break year, that's not fair. Like, they haven't even practiced yet. You have to build some type of chemistry before you can say a team deserves to be here and a coach deserves to be on the hot seat. Like, give it time. You know, it's like you're baking a cake right now. You just can't pull it out. It's not ready. You know what I'm saying? So to your degree, I feel like, yes, you're right. He does have to put this team in the tournament, but you have to have a little leeway in this. You got to remember, this man was just coaching high school basketball before he took the University of Memphis job. No proven track record of college basketball. You have to cut a coach like that some slack. And on top of it, he hasn't really had a real full season to do what he does best. You know, the first year, I think there was a real learning curve. You know, he got beat down by a lot of teams the first year with Tubby's players. Second year, you finally get your guys in. But Corona hit. We didn't get a chance to play for a conference championship. And I feel like the team got hot at the right time because Precious Achiuwa was becoming that guy. That's why he won Conference Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year. So just going back to what I'm saying, you have to, give it time. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying, but the problem is when the coach comes out and says we got to make the tournament this year, that's where I think it kind of hurts your argument. And you're right. He's kind of he's still getting his feet wet, but at some point you got to make it. And if you don't make it this year, what happens? And my biggest issue is not whether he makes it or not. Obviously, your goal is to make it. What happens if he doesn't make it? That's the big question that I have. Will he be willing to change? Will he be willing to reevaluate his program and see what I'm doing right and see what I'm doing wrong and then take it from there? And it's, again, in the city of Memphis, he's a legend. So I don't think they would fire him. But a lot of fans would start asking questions. Can he get the job done? Does he really understand what it takes to win in college basketball? And I think that's fair criticism. And a lot of these people in the group chat for the Memphis Tiger page, they're just so delusional. It's almost like they just don't understand college basketball. And look, again, if Penny Hardaway doesn't make the tournament, I don't want him to be fired, but I want him to consider making changes. And if he doesn't want to consider making changes, what's the point of having him as a coach? Because you might as well just expect the same result. And I don't know if fans want that. But what is your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say fans are not delusional because fans are realistic. At the same time, I think that fans are what they're supposed to be, supportive people. You know, they understand the progress and understand what's at stake. Like you said, if he has a bad year, you're not going to fire him. You got to be patient. You know, we had guys that were worse than him coaching, and we gave them so much time. Like before Josh Pastner got it right, he had to learn his way in the system. Before John Calipari got it right, he had to learn his way. So it's like it's only fair that you give this guy a chance. And with this team, I think it's about building chemistry. You know, you got a lot of new guys that got to learn how to play together. You know, even though you won an NIT championship last year, you lost guys that were very important to the team. Boogie Ellis, Damian Ball, those guys were very important. Even DJ Jeffries. You lost Musa. Musa, you know, you can say whatever you want about him, but he had a presence in the paint. So many people are putting so much pressure on Sam Ayamati, and it's like this guy hasn't played one college basketball game. I wouldn't put a lot of pressure like that on a guy that wasn't even a top 100 prospect. And I'm a person that doesn't believe in rankings, but I'm realistic though too. When we say we sign this player and we expect so much out of him, I think you got pieces like Josh Minot that's going to come in and be great for this team. He can play multiple positions. You got a guy like Jonathan Lawson. Jonathan Lawson can play point guard all the way up to power forward. You got Chandler Lawson. Chandler Lawson is a great defensive presence. He's got that dog mentality that we've lacked in the front court. And I think this is a big year for a guy like Malcolm Andrews. Malcolm is the guy that's been ready for this moment. You know, I don't think if Musa was coming back, we'd had him come back. I think he was more likely going to South Carolina State where he can have a bigger role. Now he's stepping up to the challenge where he will have a bigger role. So it's like you got guys that are hungry, but then you also got guys who are unproven. So you got to be fair when you say do or die, win or lose type season. Like give it time, let these guys practice first. I say you always judge a team after 4 or 5 games, and Penny Hardaway will change if he's struggling with what he does, what he's doing. Because example, the offense he knew was a problem, he fixed it. Now he's very aggressive on defense. You know, I saw your Lance Thomas interview where Lance said, you know, they focus on defense majority of the practice. And that kind of showed because it took them a while to get started in the offense in a lot of games. Like they had to get adjusted, then go with it compared to just jumping on somebody's neck the moment they get the ball. And I think now you got guys like Alex Lomax who's breathing a lot better now because it's not so much pressure on him. Right now, he's that guy to run the team. And for the first time in his career, he can come in and feel confident to know he doesn't have to look over his shoulder because he's that guy at point guard. And what people fail to realize, Alex Lomax is a winner. This guy is a true winner. He's shown his ability to win. I mean, let me remind you, was it UAB or South Florida? The guy put the team on his shoulders. You know, great defensive game. The guy's like only 5'10", 5'11", but yet he still plays a big part in this program. So also with the addition of Tyler Harris, oh my gosh, I'm telling you now, Tyler Harris is ready. You know, even though he's a small guard, people forget like the guy had the same amount of points per game as Boogie Ellis and didn't never start a game. So now you're talking about a guy who's proven himself, who wants to be home and wants to be happy to show fans that, hey, I might be small, but I can show you guys we're going to make the tournament. And I mean, Tyler Harris is a great person to have back because he can score. You know, it was moments when he was playing when we had Boogie, he outperformed him. You know, and now you got him where he doesn't have to look over his shoulder too much. You know, we got some guys that can play the transfer from Miami. Expect big things from him. You know, he's a guy that's trying to get himself back healthy and show that he is that guy that was projected to be a first-round draft pick. So, to me, it's all about patience. You cannot rush a college program to win. It's not fair. I mean, even Nick Saban will tell you that. You know, you just can't rush. I know you love to compare basketball to football. So that was
I'm sure that's the greatest comparison. Nick Saban's one of the greatest coaches of all time. But I see your point. The one thing I'll say is, as again, I agree with most of what you're saying, but when your coach comes out and say it's a must, and look, it's hard to make the tournament. It's hard to win the tournament. So I'm not gonna be an unfair critic. But at the same time, I think this team. My only issue with this team is, as good as Lomax is, I'm not sure if you want to reach where they ultimately want to reach. I don't think he can be your best point guard. That's just my opinion. So I would have liked for them to get another point guard. They still can do that. I'm not sure if he's gonna do that. And like offensively, like what people don't understand, and I'm not saying they don't do this, but a lot of the stuff you got to scheme stuff for your players. Defense, you can like that is a little easier because it's about heart and effort, and you could if you're playing man on man, just stick with your man and you'll be all right. If you're playing zone, just stay in your area, you'll be all right. But offense, you have to scheme a lot of stuff up, and it's not just me saying it. A lot of coaches are saying, or a lot of analysts are saying they don't really run a lot of stuff. And so maybe they'll do that this season and they'll be able to make it. But I feel like if they don't make it, it's the offense will be a big reason why. And that to me is what's holding this program back. And some of it's like some of the players they get in. I feel like they have a lot of athletes, maybe not a lot of skilled players. And in today's game, that's what you really need to win a lot of games. And like I agree, it's hard. College basketball is arguably the hardest sport to win in. But the one thing you have to do is be willing to evolve. And he's done it a little bit. I'll give him that. And some of it he's had to. But again, I just want to see if he doesn't make the tournament. Because I feel me and you probably both think if he makes a tournament, he may make a few if he needs to, but he probably won't make any changes. But if he misses it, then I think you have to make the changes. And you have to like just ask somebody that's he was trying to hire Nolan Smith, that didn't work out. But there's a lot of available coaches right now that just pick their brains on what they see with your program and what you think you can do to take it to the next level. And like one of the greatest coaches in the modern era, in Jay Wright, he had some similar issues too at Villanova, and he was willing to evolve. Now, obviously, the stuff they were doing offensively, like you can make a case of they changed the game with the ball movement and the three-point shot. They were ahead of the game on the three-point shot, but he was willing to evolve and got more skilled players instead of and guys who just were the best regardless of position, and that's why they were able to take that next step. But you got to be, in my opinion, you got to be willing to evolve. And then also when I saw his interview, he was talking about like, well, ball is just ball. I disagree with that. The high school game, the college game, and the NBA game are three totally different games. Obviously, the same goal is there, that you got to score more points than the other team, and you got to play good defense to win. But how you win is very, very different. And if you don't get that, eventually it's going to be hard for you to win. What's your response to
that? I agree with you. And I'm going to go back to what you said about Coach said that they need to win this year. And that's what he's supposed to say. He's not supposed to say, well, we're still learning. We might not make it. He can't say that.
You can't
it's just, you can't never say that. It's like me telling my girlfriend, we might get married one day. I don't know. We just together.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Exactly. So it's like you got to set your bar high, and then you got to let your soldiers know that, hey, this is where we're going. And that's what he's done. He set that bar, and now the goal is to make the tournament. But you got guys within that program, they don't just want to make the tournament. They want to go far. They see themselves as a Sweet 16 team. And they have the pieces. They got size. They got length. You got everything you need, honestly. And it's all about seeing how far the chemistry goes because it's still a young team. You got veterans in Landers Nolly, who's an excellent shooter. You got veterans in DeAndre. DeAndre is a grown man. So that's one of your captains of your team. So Landers and DeAndre, those are two of your guys who are NBA prospects. Lester Keonis is an NBA prospect, but I just seen him with a boot on his foot. So, it's all about being healthy too. That's a big, big part of a great season. When you got guys that can be healthy. John Camden, another freshman, great shooter, still not proven. I saw him yesterday at the Penny Camp. He's a small guy, but he's 6'8", 6'8" guard. Now, if he comes in and be the knockdown shooter that we expect him to be, man, this team can be great. You know, so it's about guys stepping up to the challenge of college basketball because, like you said, it's not easy. Like you look at it, this past winter, Baylor, those guys were dogs. They were determined, and like we always talk about offense, that's good, but you need defense to win championships.
Yeah,
That's always been proven.
but defense isn't this team's problem. Offense is, and
Exactly. So with that being said, they got a good shot because they're a great defensive team. But it's new players. You don't have those same guys.
And what people don't understand is, I can't remember where they were offensively. They're going to take a step back, and it's not in a bad way. It's just how good Musa was in protecting the rim. You just don't have that on this roster. So in order to make up for that, you can either try to be as good as you were defensively, which will be very, very difficult, or you can be better offensively, and that'll give you a chance to make the tournament. And again, it's all about some of it's your personnel too. Like if anybody's relying on expecting the freshmen to come in here and tear it up, they're out of their mind. It's really hard for freshmen, even the really, really good ones. It's hard for them to impact the college game because you're dealing with some dogs out there, and it's not as easy as it looks. And as good as some of these freshmen are, even if they end up impacting it, it's going to take them some time. And so that's why you need those veterans to play well. My only question is, I have questions on the offense and the point guard positions. If they can answer those, I think they can make the tournament. But if they don't, then I don't think they will.
I totally agree. And it's just going back to what you said, like freshmen, you can't just put so much on them. I mean, you look at a guy like Josh Christopher, who played for Arizona State last season. Josh Christopher was one of the top 10 players in the country, a heck of a scoring guard. And he played in the Pac-12, and it was a wake-up call because it was hard. I don't even think he started, but he's still going pro. So it's like you got guys who are good, but they got to be proven. They got to get their feet wet. The freshmen, you know, Big Sam, good prospect, but a little raw, but definitely a good guy that can play in the AAC and make some noise. You know, I still think Malcolm is going to start over him based on the fact that he knows penny offense. And that's the key. You got to be able to know your position on the floor. So these guys are going to be good, and they're going to start off slow. I just hope people don't be like, oh, here's another bad season. You got to remember, this is a new team. New team. You got great talent, but it's a new team. But the staff, I'm wondering what's going on because yesterday I was looking around. I did not see Coach JJ around. You know, Coach JJ is a great coach. I think he was a big help and part of their success in the late part of the season. So if you don't get back Coach JJ, I mean, like you said, changes will be made, and it's going to be interesting. And one thing about the coaching search for Memphis, yeah, you can say Penny can just go plug in this person or go get that person. But there's a question mark on the Memphis program right now because we don't know where we're headed when it comes to the NCAA investigations. And people can sit here and say, oh, Coach K, he's getting old. He wanted to retire. No, he ran from the smoke. The smoke was in the kitchen of the Zion situation. You can pull the cover over your head if you want to, but that guy was running from the smoke. Roy Williams, it was time to step down because of his health. He showed us that. Coach K was ready for a whole nother season. He had top recruits coming. Now he's got to step down because there's some stuff in the closet we don't know about. And it's going to all come out. Now the question mark is over Memphis program because the whole James Wiseman situation. We haven't tapped in on what's going to happen after that. We'll see. Hopefully nothing bad. Worst thing could probably be.
It'll probably be a 1 or 2 year ban. I mean, at the max. Hopefully, it won't be more than that. But yeah, that in my opinion, the ban is coming. It was avoidable if they just had not played James Wiseman. But I understand why they did it, and he was trying to show support for his players, but that was avoidable if he just didn't do that. But that's
rookie coach move because that whole situation. We want all the smoke, all that. That was a guy who was ready to show the world, and I can't knock him for that. But then that's a rookie mistake because it's like you jumped the gun. You know, you can't do that in this game. That's why a lot of coaches are like, hold on, Penny. And then on top of it, you're not going to sit here and walk around and think you're just going to crap all over Coach K or John Calipari. Like, they're just going to watch you be successful. If you're doing something illegal, trust and believe they're going to let people know.
And A little bit, but I mean, they were aware of it and they still played him. But I mean, it's over and done with. Just obviously they can't do it again. But they just gotta be smart. Like next time, just sit him down if you're in that situation. And the thing that sucks, like everyone says James is loyal. And number one, he's from Nashville, where I'm from. And I'm not saying that's why he didn't come back, but uh, after all that stuff they did for him, he still ended up leaving. So that just tells you where his mind was headed. And I'm not saying he's wrong for doing that. He has to do what's best for him. And it took a mental toll on him. But it just tells you that these kids, as much as a lot of these coaches may care about these kids, the kids at the end of the day will do what's best for them, which is the right thing to do. So,
Always.
yeah. But it's going to be a very interesting season in Memphis. I think the Tigers have a shot. The one thing that some people brought up to me on Twitter is a lot of these new guys, they may not be as skilled offensively as DJ and Boogie, but they want to be there. And so I think that's important for a team. Still have a lot of questions offensively. I just don't know if they're going to be able to, like, if who do you think if they have to close a game, who would you give the ball to take you to the promised land? I don't see that guy on this team right now.
I do see that guy on this team. I see Landers Nolly being that guy. I see Landers. I see Lester Quinones being that guy. I see DeAndre Williams, sure, being that guy. You got guys who are ready for that. You know, those are guys who are pro prospects, so they're ready. You got a guy in top. Let me tell you something. Addition by subtraction. You lost Boogie Ellis. You replace him with Tyler Harris. You replace him with let's see who else we got. The transfer from Miami. Those are two guys who can plug in at their position. You lost DJ Jeffries. You plug in Josh Minot or Jonathan Lawson. Two guys who are very versatile. They can do a little bit more or just as good. And then as far as Musa, you plug in Sam. Sam is more skilled offensively because he can catch the doggone ball and make some moves. He has a great shooting range. He can shoot the 3-ball, great free throw shooter. He's more skilled. So it's like the guys you lost some experience, but far as like their complete total talent, you had a subtraction and added. So it's gonna be real interesting once you see it all play out. But like I said, you had to be patient with it because these guys, they're in new roles now. Like Josh Minot, he's a freshman. He's absolutely amazing because he's 6'9" and has guard skills. But at the same time, he's a freshman. I think he can come in and be great for us, but like I said, still young. I don't want to put so much on him.
All right, two more questions I gotta ask you. The Orlando Magic job came open, and there's been some consideration that Penny Hardaway may be a good fit there. What's your thoughts? I personally don't think he would, and not saying that he wouldn't consider taking it. I just don't know. He's still, to me, unproven as a coach. The one thing I'll say that the NBA offense and NBA defense, that NBA stuff, if he wants to run it, I mean, that's the perfect place to go, the NBA, and you'll have time. The only thing in the NBA, if you don't get the job done, they'll get rid of you. In college, not saying they won't, but he has more leverage here. What are your thoughts on that situation?
I mean, I feel for the first time we agree on something. I agree that Penny's not ready as a NBA head coach. He's unproven, and I don't think he'll step up to the challenge to take an NBA job because he has unfinished business. He's never won an NCAA championship, never won an NCAA game. So he wouldn't make that move because, I mean, let's be for real. He's not hurting for no money. He's played in the NBA at the highest level. He played in a championship game, but as far as coaching, he knows that's a business. So it's like, okay, you leave Memphis for Orlando. Let's say they fire you after your third year, you're done. So I think he's gonna stay coaching college, and eventually, when he makes his platform better than what it is, I can see himself. I see him making that move, but right now, it's way too soon.
All right. In my opinion, it's not a make or break year, but it's an important year for the Memphis basketball program. So my gut feeling right now tells me they don't make it. I hope I'm wrong. And I want to make something very, very clear for Tiger Nation that thinks I'm a hater. Penny's a black coach. I'm a black man. I want a black man to be successful. And also because he loves the city. I know he really wants it. You can tell. But I got to also call it as I see it. But if they don't make it, and I hope they do, but if they don't, do you think he'll be willing to change maybe how he runs his program, get a more experienced staff, get a staff that, like, for example, I look at Ty Lue, who won a championship, but got his staff that he got with the Clippers was a big reason why they were able to pull out their game against the Mavericks. Obviously, he has a lot of talent, but that staff, they're two guys who should be head coaches in this league, in Kenny Atkinson and Dan Craig, was really, really critical for him. Do you think Penny Hardaway would be willing to do that? And if he doesn't, why do you think he wouldn't be able to do it?
Absolutely, he would make a change. I don't see Penny being as stubborn like that. Penny's not going to sit here and just continue to take shot after shot to the face where he's not doing anything. He's got to make adjustments. It's like a fight. You know, you're going to constantly get hit with the right hook or you're going to adjust. You know, so I think he's going to make moves if he has to. You know, it's still early. So right now he's running. He's going to run what he did last year, what got him to the NIT championship. Until that stops working, he's going to continue to do what he does best.